questions or problems that a lot of students come to me with is that they have knee pain while they're riding, and that can be caused by various things, but I have a quick fix that anybody can do to help release some of the chronic tension that we probably carry around in the various muscles of our legs to give us a little more relaxation and range of motion in our hips and in our knees. The first one I want to give you that can help ease knee pain or strain, whether you're riding or walking around or driving or sitting at a desk or sitting at an airplane, is a movement that you do seated, and you want to scooch back so that most of your thigh is supported. That way your foot is free to move. And what we're going to do is pick a leg. I'm going to start with my right leg, and whichever alignment your leg is in, this is where we're going to start. Take your hands off your lap if they're resting in your lap. And we're going to do a simple move. It's almost too simple to believe, but it can really help release your quads. So you're going to lift your foot, straightening out your leg, not moving through any resistance, and then very slowly bring your foot back down to neutral. We're going to do each of these moves 3 times. So we'll repeat that. Using your quad, you're going to lift your foot up, straightening out your knee, not going too far, then very slowly creep your foot back down, and I can feel my foot not going very smoothly, doing little jagged moves. No problem. At the bottom, rest it, and we'll do a third one. Pick up the foot, and slowly, mindfully bring it back down. That's all you have to do to get this feedback loop going in somatic movement. Once you've done that 3 times, you're ready to do the next version of it. We're actually going to do 3 separate moves with each leg before we move on. So same leg, and if you look at my feet, you can see that I'm a little bit pigeon-toed. And one of the guiding principles in Hanna Somatics is that you always go in the direction of ease first. So I'm going to exaggerate with my same leg, my pigeon-toed angle. I'm just going to turn my foot so it's pointed in a little bit, not far enough to tweak on my knee. It's a comfortable turn. And I'm going to repeat those 3 things. So from this angle now, I'm going to straighten out my leg, recruiting some of my quad muscles to do that, and slowly, bring it back down. Let it rest at the bottom. Pick it up again. Slowly, mindfully let it come back down. If you do this slowly enough, it will get kind of jerky, and that's great feedback for your brain. Rest it at the bottom, and then a 3rd time, pick your leg up. And slowly bring it back down. When you're done, relax your leg in neutral again, and just give yourself a moment so that your brain can collect the feedback generated by those muscular movements, because that's the information your brain needs to make these adjustments. Take a breath. This is very relaxing stuff. And then we'll do one more with the same leg. So now we're going to do the other direction. I'm going to turn my leg out a little bit from my seated position. Not so much that it hurts or pulls on anything. In fact, we're actively avoiding the sensation of stretch while we do these movements. That's what makes Hanna Somatics different from most other things that we do with our body. So from this angle then, same thing. I simply pick up my foot. It doesn't want to straighten out as far or go as high, so I just go with that. I don't want to push through anything. And then slowly float it back down till I can rest it. 2 more like that, and we're almost done. The slow, mindful release is the most important part. 1 more. I'm paying attention to see what I can feel in my quad area or any other area that might be active as I do this. And then, of course, we'll release back to neutral and relax. Just those 3 simple movements done 3 times, and of course you'd want to do it with both legs, is enough to help you release any of the chronic tension that you might have been holding in your quads. So I think before we end this section on what can you do to get your knees more comfortable, we'll follow up with the psoas move. It's really easy and actually quite quick to do. You also do this one seated. So to release the psoas, you can do it seated in a chair. You could do this one standing up, but I like doing it seated. All you have to do is coordinate a knee lift with your breath following the guidelines of doing somatic movement, so moving slowly, gently, paying attention to the sensory feedback and what it feels like to do the move, not pushing through any pressure or resistance in your body, certainly avoiding pain and avoiding stretch. So what you're going to do is, in time with an inhale, lift one knee up. It could be a little bit, could be a few inches. And then as you exhale, slowly let your knee come back down until you can rest your foot on the floor. And repeat that 3 times. So again, with an inhale, I'm going to lift my knee, and there's a deep muscle. Kind of feel it across the groin and up into your abdominal cavity. That's your psoas muscle lifting. As you exhale, your knee comes back down nice and slow. 3rd time, inhale, lift the knee. Feel what's going on in here. Exhale, slowly release. Keep feeling for what's going on, and your brain will take care of the rest. We want to release our body in a balanced way, so of course we'll do the other leg as well. But give yourself a moment so that your brain can collect the feedback and all of those sensory tidbits that you just generated by doing that knee lift. When you're ready, do the other leg. Lift the knee. As you inhale, slowly, mindfully, bring the knee back down, and so you can rest it on the floor. Once you've done that 3 times on both sides, you now have a couple more muscles that have been refreshed and reminded of how they used to feel before life happened to them. And this particular movement is really good for every modern human to do every day, not just people who ride horses, because we do things to our body just in the course of our daily life, like I'm doing right now, sitting in a chair where I'm folded at the waist, driving in a car where I'm folded at the waist, riding on an airplane, sitting at a desk, even when we're sitting on a horse. Anything that we do that folds us at the hip is causing our psoas muscle to be in a shortened state. And anything that we do over and over can become a habit. Once something becomes a habit, now you have something that's really hard to get rid of, or that you have to constantly work to compensate for, like forcing your hips to open instead of allowing them to open. So doing this exercise once a day, once a week, 3 times a day, as much as you like, is a way that you can counteract the effects of just our daily seated position on the human body. The 3rd exercise that I like to share with my students who are complaining about leg or hip pain or stiffness is the gluteus medius release, which is one that you can do seated as well. And the movement that it does, I'm going to scooch forward to show you here, is take your leg out, so it abducts, takes it away from the midline, and it also does external rotation. So if I want to use my gluteus medius and I'm sitting here in neutral, the movement is to push my leg out to the side and open the toe slightly. Once I've done that, I've contracted that muscle, so I've done half the move. Now the slow, mindful release brings it back to the middle and then rests it. This is a really strong muscle, so you might not be able to feel it working. So what I'll often do is put my hand on the outside of a client's knee, and you can do this for yourself. Allow your hand to just offer a little bit of resistance for your leg. So your hand's not pushing on your knee is going to push on your hand though. And then we'll do that same move. Bring the knee out to the side, letting your foot open if it wants to, and then slowly let your knee come back to a neutral position. Once you've done this 3 times with this leg, what do you think we're going to do? Rest for a moment, and then repeat the same thing with the other leg, because you always want to work your body in balance, or rather unwork your body in balance, because here we're actually relaxing the working action of these muscles by doing this somatic movement. Should we do the other leg?
Yeah.
All right. Hand on the outside of the knee. Knee pushes gently into the hand, slowly comes back, so you can relax in neutral. 3 times is the magic number. And then rest in the middle. These 3 movements can be used anytime, and once you learn them, you can do them fairly quickly. I don't want you to do the moving part quickly, but you can just run through, do 3 on each leg of each of these 3 movements, and give yourself a little bit of relief and some suppleness so that you're ready to go out there and be your best in the world or on your horse.